So today let's learn a little bit more about Preston Tucker. So the funnest part about touching on these subjects is the fact that I can do a little bit more research and suddenly I have a lot more information than I did when I did the last video. The unfortunate part is now I have a lot more information than I did the last video. So what we're going to do is we're going to back up a little bit and we're going to talk about Preston Tucker in the early 1930s. Before the Tucker Combat car and definitely before the Tucker Company. Because how many of you knew that he built cars for Indianapolis? And not just any cars, he built 10 cars for Henry Ford. So in the early 1930s, Preston Tucker moved to Indianapolis to be closer to the speedway because, let's be honest, he had the speed bug really bad. This is the same guy that honestly wanted to be a cop so that he could drive around in those really fast cop cars. He ended up getting fired from the police department more than once. The first time because his mother showed up and told the cops that he was actually underage at the time. Thanks, Mom. The second time he left the police department, well, that was because he cut a massive hole in the firewall of his cop car in order to let heat in because it didn't have a heater. Good job, dude. Some years later, Tucker found himself in Indianapolis. He took a job as a transportation manager for a beer company that basically allowed him to spend a great deal of time at the track. This afforded him an opportunity to meet Harry Miller. Harry Miller had risen to fame by building the engines that basically kept winning Indianapolis from 1930 to about 1933. And the only thing that stopped him continuing to win Indianapolis was the fact that he was a better engine builder than he was a businessman, and he ended up having to file bankruptcy on his business. Preston took this as a wonderful opportunity to leave his beer job and work with Miller to build race cars. And it was only a matter of time before they locked down a contract to build 10 race cars for Henry Ford. Now, I haven't really mentioned this all that much in my past videos, but Tucker was one hell of a salesman. So this was Tucker's first job under his new company. And the problem was that Henry wasn't going to give him a whole ton of time to get the damn job done. So they didn't have a whole extra amount of time to do a whole lot of testing on those 10 vehicles. So although the cars performed well and the engines performed well, the steering actually overheated and the cars ended up having to drop out of the race, losing his company the contract. But what sucks is privateers ended up coming in for Henry Ford, fixing the problem with the steering boxes, and they ended up running those cars from 1932 to 1948 and winning with them. Tucker always seemed to be this close. It's weird.